Gentlemen, the time has come once again to discuss things.
I'm Sid Part 2, and joining me today is, of course, Bill Worster, aka Zazu Bar, who's probably gonna tell us about all the fun he had while he was destroying cities across America during his vacation, and Melanjeftic 1992, who is sad in his heart of hearts.
Yeah, Alec doesn't love me anymore.
They stopped having their relationships.
Yeah, I'll get to him. Don't worry. He'll find me standing over him.
Does he have another creepy Russian dude who he goes to now? Is he someone else's Jonathan Holmes?
He better fucking not have, because I will.
He's cheating on you.
I'll mercy kill them both if he's cheating on me.
How is that mercy killing?
It's a thing that I just want to try. I just want to mercy kill like 5 people. Is that so much to ask for?
Exactly.
I mean, a mercy kill is when you kill someone when they're going to be experiencing something worse. So first you have to establish a ground for what the worst thing is.
Well, of course it's mercy killing. It's me.
Talking to Milan for 10 minutes?
That is mercy killing.
well, not really, because I could do so much worse to those cheating assholes. But anyway.
Well, guys, oh my god, that gives me a genius idea. We should do an episode of Geeky Gentlemen. We'd have to set it up way in advance, though, because it will require Skype-ins. So here's what we'll do. No topic. We just do an hour of introducing people who have never spoken to Milan. Give them 5 minutes, and we see what happens. And if they want... And here's the question they will have afterwards. We'll hang them up. They won't give this to us on air. We'll talk to them privately. Milan, you won't be involved in this. We'll talk to them privately afterwards and ask them, do you want to talk to Milan ever again? And we'll see how many people say yes. This will be a very interesting social experiment. We have to set it up in advance.
Oh, by the way, I just remembered something amazing. Something amazing happened to me. And you can't interrupt it because the story will make sense in the end. Basically, I was, next to my computer looking through porno. I wasn't jerking, I was just, flaccid. I was looking through porno. And then I found this old 90-something porno. It was from England. I clicked on it, and I couldn't believe what I was hearing. It was in English, but only in the background. There was a Russian guy translating it, and guess who it was? It was the same fucking guy. Oh my god. And I was like, I literally shit my pants laughing. It was amazing. The same guy that translated Winnie the Pooh and Dumbo and Bambi in my childhood was now translating porn. Oh my god. Dude, he was doing everything like, do you like it? Yes. He was translating both the man and the woman.
Was it more than 2 people? Because that would be amazing.
No, there was the man. He was kind of silent, going yeah, and there was 2 women, a maid and a wife, and he was basically going, do you like this? Yes, I do like this. He was doing the ahs and the ears as well.
Another.
It was amazing, dude.
That being said, before we get into the topic, Bill, how was your vacation, buddy?
It was good. I really enjoyed myself, and you know why? Because we didn't fucking go anywhere. We went somewhere, obviously, but we didn't go anywhere, do any traveling from the hotel. We stayed at the hotel. Here's why that's a good thing. I go on vacation to relax. I go on vacation so I don't have to do anything else except get up and enjoy myself. I hate having to get up at a certain time. It's just something that I don't like. I like to just get up when my body is ready to be awake. Because the worst thing is being up and just not wanting to communicate with society. You walk around with your glazed over eyes, and you're just like, fuck you, just go away. And you just walk through the streets like that. That's not fun. That's not enjoyable. Whenever we go on vacation and we like we went to Florida once, and we go to Disney World, SeaWorld, Universal Studios. It's not fun to get up at 8:30 in the morning, get in the car, and drive to a place filled with fucking tourists. It's just not fun because your eyes are glazed over and you're walking around like a zombie, and everyone else is like, ah! That's how it is.
God, you're really unhealthy, Bill.
It's not healthy at all. So this one we went to Virginia Beach, which it's basically like the town in Jaws, just better weather. And also it's a lot bigger because it's a city, not just a town.
But there is still a great white shark in the waters.
There's still a great white shark. No, that actually Jaws will make its way into it. There was a great white attacking people. I'll get to that in a second. But we just hung out on the beach, and it was a really nice hotel. We stayed at a Holiday Inn Express and Resort, and they had a couple pools. They had a lazy river, which is a river with a current in it, and there's like a fake rock in the middle. And then the nicest thing, the thing I enjoyed the most, was you would go out of the sliding door of your hotel room, and you would go out onto the beach. Of course, there was like a boardwalk and a grass in between, but you just look out onto the beach every morning. And obviously, I would go on walks, and I would obviously go right out to the ocean right from my room. Here's the thing, though. Big push for what makes this little city and this part of the beach so nice. It's called North Beach, the area where I stayed, and I guess you can guess why. Is the dolphins. You look out from your hotel room and you can see pods of dolphins every day passing by the beach, and you see them they're like 20 feet out from the water. You could realistically swim out to them. I didn't, but you could. And
I would have.
I might have, but that's not the thing. Thing is, the first 2 days there are no dolphins. Why do you think a beach city in our modern age would push so heavily, aside from the novelty of it, dolphins on the beach? Just random guess. Because dolphins scare sharks.
Oh, really?
That's why they push it so much. And of all the things that would threaten the economy of a beach area is sharks. And in Virginia Beach, where the water is warm and it changes with the seasons, you better fucking worry about sharks, because you're going to get all different kinds and a bunch of different kinds that could kill someone. So, and they got lifeguards, everything. They got all the necessary precautions. But if you've got dolphins, very slim chance of getting attacked by a shark. So the first 2 days I look out, no dolphins. So I'm like, I'm just going to take a walk on the beach and see what happens. So no shark attacks. Day 3, loads of dolphins. I went in the water. That was probably the most interesting part of the vacation.
That was very disappointing.
I wish I was a dolphin. I genuinely do.
Well, you would have had a fun time, Milan, because they looked like they were having a good time.
One of these days, I'm just gonna get naked, just cut my arms off, sew my legs together, paint myself silver. We're gonna put a hole in the top of my head and just jump into the water. It seems like it's really difficult
without your arms.
You would have to paint yourself first.
No, of course. I'll paint myself first. I'll put the hole in my in my skull. Then I'll, get my little brother to do it with a samurai sword. I told them that you were gonna chop off my arm so I could become a dolphin.
And you don't have to. I don't. Milan, no offense, I would never want to live with you, just for the sheer fact of that potentially coming up in a conversation on a daily basis.
No, I'm not done yet. So I'd jump into the water. I don't know, I'll tuck my, my genitals between my legs, just to be safe.
Of course.
Then I'll just swim around and just shut up, Mickey. No, I don't care. I don't want to talk. I don't want to talk to your cunty friends, Mickey. Fuck you.
Oh,
Jackass.
This is why people listen to Geeky Gentlemen. This is why we have the subscriber base that we do.
Right.
You're all wet, Mickey. Anyway.
It's for stuff like this.
Milan, I got an idea for how you and your brother and father can make money as opposed to living off of gambling money and the government pensions. Get a fucking reality TV show.
Oh my God, Ian! Why don't we fucking make this show? We're two camera savvy guys. We could fucking make this show.
Yeah, but then we'd have to go live with them.
No, we wouldn't. We could get like we could get a nice. We could go to a Holiday Inn in a resort nearby, and we go there during the day. We shoot our shit. We go back. We edit the footage that is the best, and we fucking sell it.
But I don't.
Dude.
But Bill, you need a camera crew that are 24/7 because shit happens at night.
Well, we'll pay a couple of fucking college kids or a couple teenagers. We send them over there. They do well because we're college kids. So we pay a couple of teenagers. We pay them to live there. We're sitting pretty in our Holiday Inn resort. We only go there from like 12 to 5. We shoot our footage, and then they're there the rest of the time getting the footage that we don't want to be there for.
Yeah, but then we're gonna get sued for exposing children to a dangerous environment.
Well, no, okay. Well, Milan, what's the legal age limit in Australia? Is it 18 like it is here, or is it a different age?
For what?
For just like being legal, being a legal adult. Is it 18 over there, or is it lower? Is it higher?
17.
Ian, we hire a couple of 17-year-olds, and we get them to do it for us. It's gonna happen, people. It's gonna happen.
What exactly?
Shoot a reality TV show in your house.
Yeah.
And we'll all be billionaires off of it. You'll be like 17 times more quotable than the Jersey Shore.
Oh my God, it'll be like fucking Honey Boo Boo. It'll be called the Milan Show.
But Milan needs a catchphrase.
Milan, what's your catchphrase?
I'm eating 3-day-old pizza.
Genius. We're gonna make millions on the T-shirts and the plushies.
Oh God, a Milan plushie. That's horrifying.
It's got stains on the shirts, and we don't identify what the stains are. No, you can make your own stains. We sell like a case of liquid with it, and the liquids are like representations of the different stains that could potentially be in Milan's house.
So I like that we've been going for about 10 minutes now.
Hold on, my little brother's asking me to, hug him in a way that... Okay.
Isn't he like wet getting out of the shower? I don't want to know. Anyway, Ian, what are we? It's Milan's fucking topic, so we can't even introduce it without him.
Yeah, pretty much.
So Ian, how was the week you had when I was away? We talked a little bit over the vacation.
Yeah, we texted, but I don't want to talk about it because I want people to be like surprised and excited.
Oh, we talked about a super secret part of the Geeky Gentleman. What the fuck are they arguing about?
I don't know.
See, this is you. This is you. And that's you and me. I'm.
They'll call back anyway.
Oh yay.
Now we talked about something we're going to do, and sorry everybody that's listening, but I hope these first 10-15 minutes are entertaining at the very least.
I hope so. I pray. I am enjoying myself very much.
We haven't talked in a week, so we're all just having fun right now, catching up.
Yeah, kinda. Pretty much. I think they'll like it. I think that our audience is cool enough that they'll enjoy this kind of human moment of the Geeky Gentleman. This is our humanity coming out here.
Yeah, and this is why the show will never be picked up.
We'll never get a reality show.
Let me just explain what happened. My little brother...
Alright, we would love for you to explain what happened.
My little brother just came out of the shower with a towel wrapped around his waist and told me to pick him up and just crack his back for him. And so it's me just lifting him up naked. Well, he's naked, and I'm just torquing him around, trying to crack his back. Because it's a funny thing that happened.
It was weird already.
It was already weird. I mean, there's no part of this that isn't weird.
Yeah. So, yeah.
Did you? I really hope you did it like Bane and you said first I broke the bat and then I broke the man.
No, he's just, God. Well, fuck.
You fucked up, Milan. You fucked up royally.
4:10 tomorrow.
No, he said today because I'm going to a party now. Hold on.
Well, for fuck's sake, you little money-grubbing Jew.
Oh, gosh.
$50.
Ian, they have those,
Don't worry.
They have those anti-Semite, bleeps ready. I really hope you have those prepared.
Oh, my auntie's a Jew. Relax, I got Jew in my blood.
That makes it fine. That makes it cool.
Gypsy as well. Okay, you. Oh, you gypsy.
Let's see how many other races we can offend in the next 10 minutes.
Well,
Milan, throw out a couple of racial slurs. Why don't you?
It's not racial slurs because all these things are in my bloodline. So.
We're like the assassins, like just one little Middle Eastern looking dude. So like,
yeah, well, my father is partly Turkish as well, so
Really?
You have an
that's why he's so dark. That's why he's so dark of skin. No, partly Turk. His grandmother was raped by a Turk. That's what Mom tells me. That's not funny.
That's what Mom tells us. Mom doesn't even know this time.
Wow, this show has gotten derailed.
That's what happens on a Milan topic. No one watches Milan topic videos anyway.
It's okay. We can just.
My Little Pony. No one watches Milan topic videos.
Well, the My Little Pony video had the benefit of us really pissing off Ed.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
Anyway,
so that was the one that everyone was like, "Oh my God, this is the crown of the Geeky Gentleman, or the jewel of the Geeky Gentleman crown."
Yeah. So by the way, everyone who might have been offended, I didn't like all those things. I didn't mean it by it because yes, we do have Jewish in our blood. So yes, we do. Auntie's a Jew.
She's not.
Guys, how about we just shut the fuck up and get to the topic? How's that?
Juan, what are we talking?
I can drop you from the call again. How's that?
Okay. How about this? Okay. Basically, the topic today is being burnt out on things. Mostly comic books and this type of characters in media. So you could just watch something and you might enjoy it for a little while, but then something is said or it's just constantly the same, and so you get burned out on it, just like this show.
We're all burnt out on Geeky Gentlemen in a way.
Yeah, the what little viewership we have, they're burnt out on us.
That's good.
I will say this much: Milan does keep the show fresh and new.
Whether you guys like it or not.
Whether we're happy about it, the consequences of it or not, but this is something that has always intrigued me about the superhero genre in particular, because it's one of the biggest things out there right now in terms of pop culture, and also because it's a relatively, I'm not going to say new because that might be overselling it, but it's a relatively fresh phenomenon in how insanely mainstream it's gotten. With how many Captain America or Hulk t-shirts you see around these days, kind of post-Avengers, post-Marvel stuff, post-Chris Nolan's Batman movies. It's a fresh phenomenon in how accepted the comic book and superhero genre has become, and it's not the back burner subgenre it was in the early 2000s. It's a really cool thing as a comic book fan, but you gotta wonder how long can it last, because I don't think it'd be safe to say it's going to last longer than 10 years.
We'll see.
Just with you, Bill. I think it'll last for quite a while. I think it'll have a slight drop off eventually, but I think it'll keep coming back, because that's the thing about superheroes is they're endlessly retellable.
Yeah.
As long as you keep a couple core things the same, you can always bring a superhero back. Like everyone complains we've seen Batman's origin too much, but as long as you don't keep doing Batman's origin, you can always go back to the character. There's something else there. I think you can always go back to the character, and I think that's the characters, and I think that's something that's important.
Yeah, that's the mark of a good character, is if you can constantly go back to them and tell new stories with them. And that's why I'm always so, not angry, that might be, that's kind of not the right word, but kind of disappointed when these superhero movies, or genre movies in general, they constantly go back to the same character and do the same story with them when there's an infinite amount of stories you can tell. Yeah. It's like, Batman Begins did it great. And I'm going to go to a non-movie thing right now, if you guys know. I'm going to go to comics, because they're doing Batman's origin again in the comics right now with Batman Zero Year. And it's like, Batman's origin is interesting.
Scott Snyder sucks.
I don't agree with that, but
we've lost all the possible viewership that we have. Thank you, Ian.
I don't know if we have diehard Scott Snyder fans on our audience, but I don't think he sucks. I just think that he's kind of he's not doing anything interesting right now. But I haven't been reading Superman Unchained, but I don't know, maybe that's his saving grace. But it's like, you look at Zero Year. I don't want to read Batman Zero Year because I've seen Batman's origin done 50 million different ways.
Yeah.
So I'm not interested in seeing how he puts on the cape and cowl for the first time. I'm not interested in seeing how Clark Kent puts on the S-shield for the first time. I don't give a fuck about Bruce Banner being bombarded with gamma rays for the first time. I want to see what happens after that. What do they do with this new dual identity? And there's an infinite amount of things you can do with that. And that's where the interesting stuff comes in. And if the superhero genre does want to survive past 10 years, I think that it has to continue to evolve with the culture that it's being exposed to. But that brings me to a question. What do you guys think of the whole reintroducing classic characters to a new generation through doing the origin again? Do you think that that's worthy, or do you think you don't have to do the origin in order to do that properly?
Well, it depends on how well known the
Oh, for God's sake. Oh, can I please say something? Because it's just like you talk and Milan just gonna foots in. This is my topic, by the way. But it's just like...
we spent the first 10 minutes of the video listening to you talk to your fucking brother, so don't give me that shit.
Okay, then, good point. Continue.
No, fucking talk now, since you gotta be an asshole about it, bitch.
Oh, fine, Jesus Christ.
That's his topic, asshole.
For fuck's sake, Mickey. But anyway, yeah, I mean, you can get burned. I think if the characters are, like, obscure enough, like the JSA characters, but like, people don't really know about them anymore. They're just like, oh, those the old guys. Like, with the Earth 2 book. I mean, people don't really know anything about the JSA characters, not to say there's nothing good with them in it. Like, the JSA books were some of the best stuff in the early 2000s and the 90s. But yeah, I think reintroducing the, obscure characters by retelling their origins is a good idea, because you haven't heard their origins repeated 5 trillion times. Because we heard of Batman and Superman's origins and all the popular characters' origins like a bajillion times. But characters that don't have a large fan base as the main guys do, hearing their origin doesn't seem too overdone.
Yeah, right. I guess I'd agree with that to a certain extent. I was going to say that I don't care if you revisit a character's origin, as long as you do it in a new and interesting way. That being said, I mean, I don't think we need to see Spider-Man's origin again. I think that's probably the biggest problem with Amazing Spider-Man is...
I'd agree.
It was boring to see it again. It didn't add anything to the character. And
I was just happy in that... Sorry, go ahead.
Part of it's that they cut the hell out of the movie from what it was intended to be, but whatever. But, I mean, if you go back to Batman's origin and you do something new with it, that'd be fine, and that's why I don't like what Scott Snyder's doing with it, because the only new thing is adding Riddler, which is supposed to make Riddler look smart, but it doesn't. It just makes Riddler make really easy connections of, oh, Bruce Wayne shows back up in town, and then Batman shows back up in town. Or Batman shows up in town. I wonder why those are connected. It's not interesting, it's not new, whereas in Batman Begins, having Batman's origin be directly connected to the League of Assassins, that's something interesting.
Yeah, that's interesting enough. But it's like, well, here's where I'll bounce off of that. I think it's like, if you're going to redo a character's origin, you need to work it into a larger story.
Yeah, and that's what they're doing, because they're kind of taking No Man's Land and Batman's origin and just mushing them together. I wouldn't be surprised if Bane shows up at some point in the story.
He's getting his own book.
Now, are you talking about a 0 year?
Yeah, 0 year is basically No Man's Land with, Batman's origin as a bonus.
That's stupid.
Man, it sounds alright.
I don't like Scott Snyder because all he does is take great stories that other writers have done, condense it down to a short story arc, and then shove it down our throats with a couple new gadgets.
Isn't that what the New 52 does?
No, that's just Scott Snyder. Everything I've read with Scott Snyder, it's just it's Diet Grant Morrison or Diet Alan Moore. It's so bland. It's just a dumbed down version of those guys' stories. It pisses me off. I really don't like Scott Snyder's stuff. Like it literally it burns me up when I hear people say that Scott Snyder is one of the greatest Batman writers ever. I'm like, no.
Oh, that's overselling it. I mean, that's overselling it, because it's like, he has great Batman writers to me they add something to the character that wasn't there before, and he's just kind of done stuff with it. He hasn't done really anything new.
He's entertainingly regurgitating other people's work.
Yeah, I would say that's kind of how I feel about it.
I understand why Scott Snyder's become so popular. Agree with me or not, but the New 52 has brought in a lot of new readers for Batman, at least. And all those new readerships, they haven't read all the Grant Morrison and the Alan Moore stuff. All they have is the New 52 to go by. And so it's just oh, look, yeah. And so basically all they have for, examples of great Batman writing is, well, Scott Snyder. And so they're praising...
Here's why that's a problem, Milan. There's a meme out there called Musically Unaware 13-Year-Old Girl. And it's this picture of this 8th grader with braces, and it's got different captions that, stupid 8th graders say when they're talking about music like they know what they're talking about. And one of them was, have you heard this band Daft Punk? They totally copied Kanye. And but why that's funny is because famously Kanye West sampled from a Daft Punk song, but the Kanye West song got more popular. That's the exact same thing that's happening with Scott Snyder. You have these new readers that are coming in and they're reading the Scott Snyder stuff, and then they go back maybe and they read the Grant Morrison or the Alan Moore stuff, and they go, this is so bogged down with all this detail and stuff. It's the same story, but it's just so much more boring.
I don't know if that's the problem they're having. I think the problem they would have with that is, I've read this already. This is stupid, and then they have because they were introduced to it through the later stuff. So yeah, that's a problem, and I don't hate him because I'm not as big of a fan of the Grant Morrison stuff and the earlier stuff as you are. I think it's great, but I'm not a huge mega fan of it, so when I go read Scott Snyder, the anger of just copying it doesn't really hit me. I can't see him as one of the greatest Batman writers ever. And I say that because I'm just what he's reading is entertaining. It's not life-changing. If they give him an Eisner Award, I'm going to raise an eyebrow. Yeah. I haven't read Superman Unchained, though, and the title of that intrigues me.
Maybe. I don't know. I just, maybe his other stuff's good. I have no idea. I just know that his Batman is derivative to the point of just being lazy. It honestly feels like... in philosophy, what you have to do a lot is take someone's paper and then boil it down to 5 sentences of what their argument is. It feels like he's doing that with great comic book runs, boiling it down to just 5 issues, or boiling a graphic novel, or dragging it out even, which is even more annoying.
I do want to read his detective stuff, though, to see if that's the case there.
The Black Mirror, I heard good things about the Black Mirror, and maybe he's good about maybe he's better with the Dick Knight as opposed to Batman, but I don't know.
Yeah, he actually is funny enough, I think the New 52 guys, Dan Didio kind of said, okay, I want you to retell all these stories condensedly. Because Scott Snyder is a good writer, Black Mirror is one of the best stuff I've ever read. And that's because Dick Grayson is Batman, but it's mainly because it's original, and it's really quite interesting.
Well, I think what his good point was there from what I've heard about it is that he started out with an idea that he didn't think anyone had done before, and that's, let's do a story all about Jim Gordon. Year one is different, but let's do a new story, not origin stuff about Jim Gordon. That's interesting. Yeah. With the Batman stuff, you gotta wonder how much of it is, and this isn't giving him a pass because it's still him coming up with the plot, but you gotta wonder how much of it is DC forcing him into a new Batman book and telling him, or kind of even indirectly telling him, you have to make this book sell so new readers will become Batman fans. So it's I think then his mindset was, okay, so let me go back and read a bunch of recent or at least good Batman stuff that's been heralded, and then borrow stuff from that, so that way this book sells and becomes popular and gets good reviews. I wonder if that was not part of what we're just talking about here with his problems in terms of writing Batman.
Well, I think this is actually kind of relevant to the topic, which is why I wanted to spend a lot of time on it. I think it's very easy to get burnt out on comics because there's this really awful tendency in the medium, because it has to come out monthly or weekly for some characters like Batman or Superman, that it just gets so repetitive that you are reading the same story over and over again, and it's decades in between these great writers that come in and completely revolutionize the character. And what's annoying about it is after they do that, you get events like the New 52 that put them right back to where they started.
I agree with you. I just took about a 4-month vacation from reading comics and buying comics, and it was one of the best ideas I've ever executed, because that was my problem with both the New 52 and comics in general, was even if stuff was good, I think the best thing I was reading at that time was Indestructible Hulk, because it was not the same old Hulk stuff I had been reading before that. It was not the Jason Aaron run, and it wasn't Peter David's run. The guy said, here's the Hulk, I'm going to run with the Hulk. And it was interesting because of that. The books I had a problem with were... Batman became a problem for me because I kind of lost interest in reading the Joker story month to month.
It was bad.
And the Superman stuff was even a bigger... Well, the Superman stuff was a problem because I felt like Grant Morrison got the best of me, because I know everything that he's putting into those comics is going to be important in the end of the story. And I just
got... of the story.
Well, it's like, I got bored with looking out for it. I was like, this is like, I feel like, I felt like I've done this act before, and I don't want to go through it again right now.
The best thing I can recommend with Grant Morrison is either buy him in trade, or if you're one of those people that has to have the single issues, just wait until his story arcs are done. Not necessarily his whole run, because no one knows how long he'll stay on a book. But wait until his story arcs on a book are done before you read them, and then just read them all in one sitting, and it'll make perfect sense.
Oh, yes, totally. Because Grant Morrison, as awesome as he is, it doesn't really work well with issues. I mean, well, not really, because for me, I just love the fact that he just packs them all up with so much shit happening. And so that's what I liked so much about Batman Incorporated, because every single issue was like a mini event. It was more event-like than most event comics. Mm-hmm. And it was just like, boom, punch in the face, can't wait for the next issue. Next issue comes out, boom, punch in the face.
Grant Morrison is like the opposite of a padded comic book writer. He very rarely puts in padding, and that's what I think has made him so popular and
Grant
so
Morrison is the negaverse of Todd McFarlane.
Yes,
oh my god, that's true. It's dark, fun, and spooky, but it actually makes sense, and is amazing.
Let me just throw this out there. Let's get off Grant Morrison for now, because he will be returning on Geeky Gentleman very, very soon.
Fair enough.
We're gonna have that motherfucker on the show.
We should just do a whole episode about Grant Morrison. But anyway, no, I mean,
we're kind of doing that next week. But
we should just have him on the show. I can call him up if you want.
Yeah, he would totally agree to that. What do you want me to do now?
That's a shitty Scottish accent.
I'm Grant Morrison. I just get...
Wait, is he Irish or Scottish?
He's Scottish.
Doesn't matter. Hello.
Yes, it doesn't matter at all.
Doesn't matter at all.
Every one of our Scottish and Irish listeners...
It's not like fucking wars have been fought over this at all.
Yep, I know, right? I was about to say, all of our Scottish, Irish, and listeners just killed each other.
Anyway, Milan, I'm not giving you the chance to do your Grant Morrison impression, because I won't be able to stop laughing if you do.
Okay.
No, but, the thing I like about, comics, or about, let me just say this, and I'll stop with Grant Morrison, because there's one point I wanted to make with it. The thing I like about Grant Morrison's writing style as far as issues go, as opposed to graphic novels like Arkham Asylum, is he gets the chance to pay things off and make you go, oh. And you can't really do that in a graphic novel, because, I mean, you can set something up and you can go, oh, at the end of the book, but it's not the same as reading the story for 5 years and then going, oh!
Right.
Because that's how everyone reacts. Anyway.
Yeah, because with Grant Morrison's like with the new Batman run, I know I'm gonna finish this off quickly, but it's because people don't really like. Well, most people like Scott Snyder, but Ian doesn't, because he's not most people. But the reason with that is just, I understand when you say people can get burnt out on comics, because it's just basically most of the time the same story over and over again. But with Grant Morrison, he was just...
It's the same story, but done to, the ultimate way.
Well, he does the same thing that a lot...
Let Milan go ahead and finish. I just wanted to throw that out there, because...
Okay.
Or
Well, I think he just muted his mic. So.
Okay, I guess his dad came in the room or something.
Well, as soon as he comes in, we'll let him finish his point.
Go ahead, Bill.
But, well, look, to that point, just so we get on the same train of thought, that's what makes a great comic writer is when they come in and they make you want to re-explore the universe without doing the same shit. I think that's why Alan Moore's Swamp Thing run was so heralded, and I really want to fucking read that run. Because he took this character and made him interesting and made him different from anything else you were reading in comics. I mean, if you look at Swamp Thing, it's Man-Thing from Marvel just with a voice. So, and then Alan Moore was like, no, here's how we can make it scary and interesting, and then he did it. That's what makes a comic run interesting. I agree with you that, like, a lot of the times you come in... Milan, you were saying something? Go ahead and finish.
Basically, yeah, because with... when you said, like, essentially most of the time it takes a long time for actually a good writer to come on, or at least an above-average writer to come on and just do some really, like, mind-shatteringly good stuff. But, like, not to say there's just shit in between, but just, you know, mediocre storytelling most of the time. But when a guy like Grant Morrison gets in a book, you know there's going to be a large, you know, consistent story throughout. And once the story arc is finished, or once he's done on his book, you're gonna orgasm out of every orifice from sheer wowiness. But yeah, because it takes a long time for a good writer to get on a book. But when you get consistently good writers on a book, it's all right. But you can get kind of burnt out on that character. Like with me in Batman, I'm gonna get back on my Batman kick once Arkham's origin comes out. But at the moment I'm a little burnt out on Batman. But
that's fair.
Yeah.
No, you're not burnt out on Batman. You're just in rage face on Batman mode.
I love Batman. What are you talking about?
Oh, Milan. Well, okay, hang on. What you just said, before you go any further, I can understand and agree with. The tweets you write, that's not what's going on there.
Yeah.
That is Batman trolling.
What the
at its finest.
No, that is just Superman fanboying. That's all it is just...
What are you talking about?
Milan, I hate to be the one to tell you this, but you've just turned into a Superman fanboy over the last few months.
I haven't said anything about Superman in like weeks now.
One of your most recent tweets, to be fair, more like a week and a half ago, was a Superman fanboy tweet.
Yeah. Because Twitter is such a fucking great thing, so I can just... Twitter, don't take anything anybody ever says on Twitter seriously.
Therefore, Twitter is now pointless.
Exactly. Twitter is a pointless,
but still, in your videos, dude, you've been making videos for the last couple months just about how annoyed you are with Batman, and, I remember reading...
But it's only in a tongue-in-cheek way. I mean, me and Deadpool
I don't care
literally...
if it's a tongue-in-cheek way. It's still annoying. You still are Superman fanboying. Dude, you made a video talking about why you didn't want a Superman-Batman movie. You're a Superman fanboy. I'm sorry. It's over.
No.
Superman fanboy.
No, I'm just, dude, I'm not a Superman fanboy. I'm just on a Superman kick right now.
Yeah,
like I said before.
The point is you got to the point where you're mad that another character is more popular than your character. So
I'm not mad.
On the character.
I'm not mad. You're overblowing this, dude. I just said I would much prefer 2 more Superman films and then a Superman Batman film. But then it's
No. You said in that video, and I quote, "I am tired of them sticking Batman down our throats. Batman doesn't need to come in to save Superman's franchise." That's the words of a Superman fanboy, Milan.
No, that is a guy who's...
Geeky gentlemen, this is an intervention.
No, I'm serious.
Milan, I'm sorry, you're a Superman fanboy. We get that, infamous, the greatest cry ever. You guys ever hear that? The guy who's it sounds like a vocal cord.
Dude, just because I'm a little bit tired of Batman does not mean...
You're not just a little tired of Batman. If you're a little tired of Batman, you quit reading Batman. You're making 10 to 15 minute videos ranting about how you don't like Batman right now.
I'm not doing that anymore. That was a while back.
That was a week and a half ago, Milan. And I'm just going to say that because I want to end this argument because I don't think this is entertaining.
I think I needed to confront him, and about his shit online.
You've been confronting him about everything tonight. Milan is just getting taken down
I've been
tonight.
like,
He's
this
cut
I
down.
haven't been able to bitch at Milan in a week because he's been busy.
Dude, you're overreacting. Like I said
No,
before, once the game comes out, Arkham Origins comes out, and then I'm sure you'll get your old faithful slave back. You know, to say, "Oh, Batman's this." I'll be on Batman's dick soon enough. Don't worry about it.
I haven't listened to the No Pants podcast episode recently, but I guarantee you it's something stupid.
No, it's actually one of the funniest. No, it's funny. One of the funniest
I guarantee
things.
you say something stupid in it that I'm going.
Well, obviously, but it's not. It's not It's obviously. But
thank you. All right.
But it's not Batman and Superman related. Well, you know, it's not Batman. We just talk about.
But when you do Milan, you have to admit, whenever you do video Batman centric nowadays, it's like, oh, this is going to be ranty, isn't it?
No,
like a month ago, there's a video titled "I think a world's finest movie is a bad idea."
Yeah. But the thing is, like, look, Ian, relax. And please don't badmouth my other podcast, because me and Alex...
I'm badmouthing it, I'm just saying.
Yes, you are! You're fucking saying, oh, it's gonna be something...
Ian, that was a little bit of
man.
harsh judgment before you sat down and listened to it.
No, what I meant was, I
That was
guarantee
Ian
he's gonna
being
bring
a
up an
dick.
argument about Batman that is, I'm gonna, like, this again.
No, I didn't really. No, I didn't. We're just gonna talk about music.
Okay, but Milan, hang on. I'm going to be the equalizer here. You must admit, based on your track record for the past month, that would be a fair assumption.
Well, not really.
Admit that now.
No, because on the No Pants podcast, I kind of praise Batman. I say, oh, he's a cool character.
Okay, but you didn't...
I'm gonna hold you to that. I'm gonna listen to it, and if you're wrong, I'm gonna come back on your ass with, like, just next episode of Geeky Gentlemen, you're not gonna get to talk. It's just gonna be me insulting you. And
it's gonna be great, because you know what our next episode is? Something that has nothing to do with Batman. So
yep. No, actually, you know what? I'm not gonna insult you, because I know what our next episode is gonna be. I'm gonna insult something you love to no end. Even though I like it, I'm gonna find things wrong with it just to annoy you.
What do I love?
And it's hilarious because it's directly related to this very argument that's going on.
Okay, but anyway, let's get back to the main topic. Being burnt out on superheroes and comics is one thing, but when it transitions to being burnt out on the superhero films, that's something completely different, because it's not like we get a superhero movie every week. But
it's been a lot more frequent over the past, I would say, 4 years. Like, I mean, you turn to if you look at a summer film schedule, there's always at least 3 superhero movies. Yeah. Like this year, you had Man of Steel, Iron Man 3, and Kick-Ass 2. And I think that. And the Wolverine. I keep forgetting about the Wolverine because it was like
everybody keeps forgetting about the Wolverine, my friend. Everybody.
I didn't see it, so I don't know if it deserves to be more mentioned. But
Milan, your thoughts on the Wolverine?
I saw it with my little brother, and it's wonderful to see tastefully edited violence with family members.
I enjoyed it. I still does anyone? Okay, just in case everyone. Spoilers right now. Okay, so this is something that's been bugging the crap out of me. So there's a teaser for Days of Future Past as the stinger for the credits in this one. All right.
Yep.
So Wolverine's walking through the airport, and all of a sudden all the metal starts jingling, and he turns around, and he's about to, like, kill Magneto, who he knows is behind him, but Magneto stops him using the metal in his skeleton, blah, blah, blah. And Magneto's like, I'm not here to kill you, Logan. I'm not here to fight. I'm here to ask for your help. And Wolverine's like, understandably, why should I trust you? And Magneto goes, you shouldn't. And then Wolverine turns around and he notices that everyone in the airport has just stopped in the middle of what they're doing, like that scene in the beginning of X2. And then Patrick Stewart rolls through up in his wheelchair, and he's like, we need your help, Logan, or some shit like that. And I'm just like, wait a minute. Wait a fucking minute. This is definitely in the same continuity as X3, okay? That motherfucker got atomized. You're telling me he found a way to come back from the dead, rebuild his body, atom for atom, but he couldn't fix his legs?
Yeah. That's pretty silly, because okay, so let me just say this. I'm chilling out in my room, getting ready to go to work, and I get a phone call from Ian, and I'm like, oh, God. Because that's the reaction I have every time I see Ian's contact on my phone. No, I'm kidding. So I answer the phone, I'm like, oh, God, what's up now? And he's like, so I just saw the Wolverine. I'm like, did you like it? He's like, yeah, it was fine. And then he's like, but I had to tell someone aside from Haley about the ending. And I'm like, all right, what happened? And he just described to me what he described. And he was just like, I had to tell someone, I don't care who it was, how stupid that is. And I was like, yeah, that's pretty silly. Ian, I guarantee you that I'm not even going to attempt to explain it. And I guarantee there's going to be X-Men fanboys out there who are going to explain it for them, and that's the assumption they're going to make, so...
That's fine.
It's going to be a conceit.
You know, when I watched that thing, when I watched that little end of credits teaser thing, I just imagine when Professor X was, swerving through the people standing still, a guy's phone went off, and it was just a rap music, like it's like, so it's basically just Professor X swerving through people and just this rap song coming up. I'm like, oh my goodness, that is a thing that happened, and it was weirdly apt.
Interesting. No, but I brought up Wolverine. I went into detail on Wolverine because I wanted to ask this of Bill, because I was kind of feeling the same way. Or I was feeling, I think, similarly to how he is. I almost didn't go see the Wolverine. I only went because I was fucking bored as shit sitting around the house for the last month, not even working or being able to drive anywhere. I only went to go see the Wolverine out of a passing interest in superheroes in general, but I was really getting burnt out on X-Men. I mean, I was thinking, after how annoyed I was with First Class, don't get me wrong, First Class is a good movie, but that causes a lot of problems for me, and it really annoyed me. After how annoyed I was with that, I really didn't feel the need to go see Wolverine. So I've been burnt out. X-Men have kind of burnt me, I mean...
Yeah, because when I burnt out on Batman, that's different. But when you burnt out on X-Men...
Like, I haven't made videos hating on X-Men. That's the difference here.
All right, then.
No, it's just like, X3 was bad. Origins... Fucking just get Deadpool on screen and rape him, and that would have been better.
Oh, God. That I might have paid to see that thing, because I did not pay to see X-Men Origins.
Ryan Reynolds is a pretty man.
No, but anyway, so, like, just Origins was terrible. X-Men First Class just annoyed the hell out of me, because they just wouldn't admit it was a reboot, and it just caused all these problems with me in my head, and I don't like to be annoyed when I'm watching something. And then, so when I heard Wolverine was coming, I'm like, I don't know, I might go see it. I don't know, X-Men have kind of burnt me. So, Bill, like, were you feeling burnt out on X-Men since you still haven't seen it?
I've just never been interested in X-Men to begin with. I have never been into that franchise or that universe. I've seen the first two X-Men movies, and I saw X-Men Origins, and I liked the first two. Did not care for X-Men Origins, because I also didn't pay to see it. I saw, infamously, X-Men Origins had that period where it was released on the internet, and there were major lawsuits over it. Saw one of those copies at a friend's house, and I was not impressed. The thing that I was most shocked at, and I blame partially for my disinterest in the Wolverine, because of all the X-Men, Wolverine is awesome. I'm into Wolverine a lot. But separate from the X-Men, I'm like, I don't give a fuck about X-Men, but Wolverine's cool. I'll go see a Wolverine movie. So then they finally make one, and I watched the trailer, and I'm like, that looks cool. And I didn't see any advertising for it until a week before. That movie had shitty-ass advertising. Those marketers should be fired.
Funny enough, because here in Australia, he was advertised like a motherfucker.
Well,
but
it's because it's Hugh Jackman. Like,
I get it.
Wasn't part of it shot in Australia?
I think
it's all takes place in Japan.
Anyway, yeah, but I believe part of it was shot in Australia.
It doesn't matter. But the thing with me and Wolverine, like, I loved the 80s Wolverine where there was actual, character development and he could be killed. But, now that he's, like, super-powered and there's all the tensions come out of the story because it's like, oh my god, somebody might die. Oh no, it's Wolverine, he's not gonna die. But the thing with that is, with the X-Men films, I had really loved First Class. Sure, there was weird little continuity fumbles, but yeah, I just didn't give a fuck because I'm not much of a fan of the whole 90s X-Men thing. Not the cartoon, but the movies. They're just kind of downer and Like X2 was okay.
Those aren't 90s, but okay.
Early 2000s.
Early 2000s, anyway. But you know they had the staple of the 90s on them so heavily. But yeah.
No.
Anyway, but I liked First Class very much, but I just didn't. I kind of resented the. I personally, Bill, love the X-Men. I love the Chris Claremont stuff, and I love teams in general. But the last three movies, I mean, X2 did it, fix it up a little bit, but basically number 1 and 2, all the X-Men franchises are not X-Men franchises. They're Wolverine franchises.
Yeah.
They're Wolverine and these bitches. And I just kind of resented the character for that. It's not the character's fault, but it's just the writers, on the Wolverine's dick. Because, an angry, hairy man with claws is only as interesting when he's surrounded by other interesting characters. But yeah, but like with so that's why I loved First Class so much, because no Wolverine. But fair enough. But the Wolverine origins, of course it was shitty. X3 was But with this Wolverine film, I expected it to be very violent. I expected it to be R-rated because, like, yay, ninjas, and he's cutting motherfuckers apart. And it was violent, but it was just so tastefully edited. There was a little bit of blood, but it's.
You have to thank Hugh Jackman for a lot of that because he was a big proponent of that. He did not want to make an R-rated Wolverine movie.
I know.
Yeah, he was totally against the idea of doing an R-rated Wolverine movie just because he thought it wasn't necessary.
Honestly,
funny
I would love to see the Wolverine movie where it's just like I would love to see the Quentin Tarantino version of a Wolverine movie.
I know, because it's the most dangerous fucking weapon. They're just these claws out of a guy's hand, and there is some fucked up shit in the Wolverine, but it's so tastefully edited that people are getting hurt, but you don't see blood splashes because, like, when that girl throws that little severed Wolverine claw at the back of her grandfather's head and just kind of sticks in there, I'm like, damn, that's pretty fucked up. But, there's more stuff like that. But if there wasn't enough blood, I understand whether it's PG-13, but if they just added in blood, it would have been more, damn. It gave the film more balls. But yeah, I understand. Wolverine has just become, the guy on cereal boxes now. At least like, hey, it's Wolverine! Go watch him, like, to let him hold your kids. It's like
Wolverine, babysit your kids.
Yeah, exactly. It is
best babysitter ever. You could drink so much beer.
Oh my god.
Wait, can he? Oh, that's Captain America. Never mind. I was like, can he not get drunk? But that's Captain America.
Maybe. It would make sense that he couldn't, just because that's the same reasoning as to why Captain America couldn't. Anyway.
That's like as a soldier, that's gotta be the worst fucking thing, because you read stories about the ending of World War II, everyone was getting wasted because of the shit that was going down. And you've got, like, the leader of this giant squad, and he thinks he's about to go die, and he can't bury his sorrows in alcohol. That's the worst feeling in the world, but,
That's the thing, Captain America has to be sober all the time. And, like, that's why I love Captain America.
Batman chooses to be sober all the time. Superman just can't fucking drink, so he doesn't even have the temptation. Superman could drink all the alcohol on the planet, and it wouldn't matter.
Yeah.
That's interesting, because there's this issue of the Peter David run on the Hulk, where the Hulk, because this is at the time of the Grey Hulk, where he was kind of intelligent. And the Grey Hulk's whole thing was he didn't want Bruce Banner to be able to do anything that would fuck with what the Grey Hulk was trying to do. And so he decided, I have to find a way to incapacitate Banner. So he's coming up with all these different ways, and he tries 2 ways, both of which are pretty clever. The first way he tries is, as the Hulk, I am going to get so drunk that when Banner wakes up, he's going to have to go through detox. So the Hulk buries this fucking drinks every bit of alcohol in a liquor store, and when the cops finally show up, they just find Bruce Banner just knocked out, and he's covered in just it's funny. And then he's like, that's not going to work because I don't want Banner dying, because then I'm going to die. So he's leaping through the desert, and he's like, all right, maybe if I okay, maybe if I try and fall mid-transformation, Banner will break his leg, and then I'll transform and it'll get fixed. But he's like, there's a chance Banner might die, so I can't risk that happening. So I was like, I got it. So he jumps up on this, like, you know how in the desert they have those rocks that are piled up and it's just a pile of rocks?
Yeah.
Enormous. He's like, I'm just going to land on one of those and just sit and wait. And that's just where the next issue opens, is just Banner sitting on top of this rock just screaming for help. Anyway, it was a cool idea. But actually that brings me to another point. I think I'm actually starting to get burnt out on the superhero genre.
In film, really?
Yeah, a little bit. Here's why. A lot of cool shit came out of Comic-Con this year. A lot of cool shit about the Marvel and DC movies.
Really? I only heard, like, DC's Batman and Superman kind of swept everything else up. I mean, Ultron is going to be the villain in Avengers, and just real quick bit of casting news that I'm actually really excited for. James Spader is playing him, and I'm really happy about that because I was a huge fan of Boston Legal when it was on, and James Spader was amazing in that show, so I'm just excited whenever I see him in anything.
Yeah, he's a really good actor.
Spader.
Have you ever seen,
But I'm sorry, Bill, go ahead.
Anyway, so, I'm kind of getting burnt out of it, and I knew because I'm like, none of this really is really doing it for me. It's cool, but I'm like, I don't really care.
Really,
Back to
Batman
God.
and Superman didn't do anything for you?
And you know what? It should have, too, because the way that Zack Snyder introduced it was so fucking cool. He just had this guy come up on stage and read Batman's narration from fucking Dark Knight Returns. And I'm like, oh, God. But I was like, cool. And I didn't have that insane fanboy reaction that I think I should have, where I was like, oh, my God, I should have run around the house screaming the praises of Zack Snyder for fucking doing a Batman-Superman movie where we were promised one 5 years ago and it didn't happen. So I'm like, that's unusual. Why is that happening? And I'm like, I think I'm kind of getting sick of superheroes on film.
I'm really not.
That's fine. This is a total personal thing. It has nothing to do with the quality of any superhero movie I've seen in the past 2 years. Has nothing to do with Dark Knight Rises, Iron Man 3, Man of Steel, anything. Though interestingly enough, there were things about Man of Steel and Iron Man 3 that disappointed me. That's weird. I haven't seen a superhero movie this year that has blown me away with how good it was. Huh.
You're just building up your excitement for Godzilla, that's all.
To be fair, everyone thinks Batman Superman swept everything else under the rug. For me, it was Godzilla swept everything else under the rug.
You know, Bill, in the next Godzilla movie that's coming out, Godzilla's gonna talk, and he's gonna be the friend to all children. It's just gonna be Gamera.
No. In the next Godzilla movie, Jebediah Springs...
No, don't even. That was... oh, God.
Oh my God, Bill.
Don't even fucking talk about that.
Bill, your reaction. Like, I've been asking a lot of people for reactions, and it's just exactly Bill's reaction. They just stare deadly at the screen.
I wasn't staring deadly. I was smiling awkwardly because of how fucking disgusting it was.
No, it's like I asked Juggernaut 44 to do it. This big African American fellow, and he's just looking at this thing. He's just like frowning at the whole thing. His face never changes, and I'm like, I literally died because he's so hilarious. He did.
I think Alec probably had the best reaction to just hearing what the video was about, with him just like, you can't rape Godzilla!
Yo, I remember that when we talked about what it was about, and he was just like, you can't do that! I had that reaction as well, I just expressed it in tears. No. Anyway, so that was and that might have been part of it too. I don't know. I'm just not excited enough where I'm like jumping up and down for joy at any superhero movies coming out soon. I mean, Avengers definitely, but I'm like, until they announce another Hulk movie, I'm just gonna be like, I'll go see it, but I'm not gonna pump it up so much or I'm gonna be freaking out over it. I think I'm getting burned out a little bit, and I think that part of it is just the overall, just the concept of either a team or a man in a costume saving the world. It's a cool ass idea. It's always entertaining, but you can definitely get sick of it.
Mm.
And
the thing with that is it's at that point that you jump on something else. Not because, you know, you're starting to get jaded. Well, yes, just because you're getting a little bit jaded, but because, you know, you can get burned out on something. Like, when I was a kid, I was a huge Spider-Man fan. And I still am. Like, I remember the first time I went to see Spider-Man 1. I mean, I literally sat through the whole thing. You know that feeling that you get when you were a kid and you saw your first superhero film? It's like there was this expansion in your chest. It felt like this black hole of light and excitement.
No,
and you're like...
Sorry. I enjoyed my childhood. I didn't have to focus on only the good parts like you.
I had that when I saw Spider-Man 1. I had that sense of excitement because I had never seen a movie like that before. It was something new to me.
Yeah, that sense of wonder. I mean, because that's the thing.
I suppose I've just always been dead inside.
Well, obviously.
Yeah, something along those lines.
No. It's just Ian's never been a child per se.
Ian has always just been a stoic observer of the faults of man.
Like,
exactly.
When I was in
he can never be part of humanity because he's just so critical of them.
Yeah, when I was in kindergarten, I just walked around just like, who are all these children?
Ian's an old man in a young man's body, but also with the ailments of an old man.
With me, I had similar people. I had people say that about me, but I'm just like, you're like an old man in a young man's body, except you're senile. Hold
on, you're just crazy ass motherfucker. There's no analogy to describe.
Milan, you're like a Tasmanian devil in the body of a 65-year-old man. Ooh, look, a light bulb. That's how I describe Milan to people.
That's genius.
Break all the analogy.
But anyway, I actually want to comment on something Milan just talked about with you go through phases kind of.
Well, can I definitely comment on that, Bill.
Yeah, totally.
First, just because you two are kind of going back and forth there. I'd agree that you go through phases, and I think I do that probably more strongly than you do, Bill, I guess. We've been talking, I don't remember how much of this was on record, but we've been talking about if we go back through Bill's childhood and take out Godzilla, Bill's a completely different person right now.
Absolutely.
I imagine Milan has something like that, too, where there's that one thing in his childhood that was, like, always there, that was, like, his favorite thing to go to. I never really had that. I go through phases with everything, and I never stop liking any of it. I just reach a peak, go down, and then get interested in it again when something new happens. Like, you go back 4 or 5 months, I was really into Doctor Who. Bill and I had 3-4 hour conversations about Doctor Who, and I still like Doctor Who. I still think Doctor Who's really cool. But since I've watched all the Doctor Who stuff I can, and since I don't have any access to the comics or any of the other extended medium right now, I have a passing interest in it at the moment. I'm excited for when the 50th anniversary comes out in November, and it's really the same way with the superhero movies for me. I'm excited for Avengers 2. I'm excited for Batman Superman, but there are other things at the moment that are keeping my interest. Namely video games, which is weird because it's been a long time since I played video games.
Funny enough, the same as with me because I've just finished BioShock Infinite. And personally, I got the same reaction, the one I was talking about, the whole fire in the chest thing going, wow! I got that same reaction from finishing BioShock Infinite. And now I'm just on a huge BioShock kick, just BioShock Infinite, because it made the universe of BioShock so infinite. And I'm like,
I wonder why.
Aptly titled.
Aptly titled.
Yeah, wow, guess what, BioShock creators? Fucking named it correctly.
Yeah, but the thing is, I just hate Alec now. Because I'm like, he says like, oh, I'm crying. Like, bitch, you're gonna come on Skype and you're gonna talk to me about BioShock. Or I will literally rape you. I will.
That's that gives him such great incentive because it's like, I mean, you really couldn't do anything to him if he didn't. So the fact that you would even threaten that, I'm sure that gives him such a great desire to come on and talk to you. Anyway,
No, but the thing is, he likes it. He likes it when I tell him terrible things. Like
I bet.
No.
Oh yeah, he's a sucker for punishment.
No. He is kind of. But the thing is, he is my sweetheart, and it's just like when he annoys me and doesn't do what I say, he gets punished. You know, it's just what happens.
This just got really awkward.
See, here's the thing. I've talked to Alec only a handful of times, and every time I've talked to him, he's always struck me as a very intellectual and very well-spoken individual. I have never thought of him as a bitch in any way, and that's how Milan is describing him right now. So
but he's not a bitch. He's not a bitch. Like he's my chocolatey teddy bear. That's all he is.
So he's your chocolate bitch, basically, is what you're telling me.
Bitch is such a very demeaning word. He's my
Milan, you're talking about how he likes to be raped by you. How is that not demeaning?
I'm not saying he likes it. I'm just saying if he doesn't do what I say, that will be the inevitable consequence.
Inevitable result.
Exactly.
That was the greatest pronunciation of inevitable I've ever heard.
You know what, Milan? You are a bit of a mumble mouth. There's this app I found on iPhone. I saw Hank Green using it, and it cracked me up. You put on headphones, and then you talk into the phone, and it immediately plays back what you're saying, and it really fucks with you, and it makes it really hard to pronounce words. So that would be fun to hear Milan try to use that.
Next episode, we're gonna do that. I have an iPhone. I'm gonna download that app as long as it's free.
It's free.
Okay, I'm gonna download that app. We're gonna record it, and we're gonna see the hijinks that ensue. We'll also pray that it will work over a speaker.
No, you have to have headphones in, because you can only hear your voice, and it has to be instant and disorienting. But anyway, it's okay.
But anyway, hang on. I want to say something about the topic I've been trying to say. In terms of phases, I used to go through really drastic ones. I used to go exactly through what Ian was talking about, where I would be hugely. And the biggest ones were James Bond and the Incredible Hulk TV series. I went through a huge kick on both of those things, and it caused me to lose this insane interest I had in all my other fandoms like Godzilla and stuff, and just be obsessed with that thing. And I've grown out of it to a certain extent. I wouldn't say I've totally lost that, because I'm on a really big Dragon Ball Z kick right now.
Yeah, thanks. You gave that to me too, by the way.
Oh yes, I'm glad, because for those of you who don't know, I'll do a little bit of advertising. And although we're going through problems with it right now, Super DM and I had just recorded a week-long series reviewing all the Dragon Ball Z movies, and Ian guested on a couple of episodes. And you can see the first 4 episodes on Super DM's channel. Ian's in one of them, but he ended up having some shit go down with YouTube, so he's having a hard time posting the rest of the series. So developments on that will be released as they come. But I've been going on a huge Dragon Ball Z kick, and I think that's it causes all my other fandoms to kind of go sit on the back burner while I just obsess over Dragon Ball Z for a couple weeks and remember how much I liked it and why I liked it.
Mm-hmm. The same kind of happens with me. You do go in phases because you can't consistently like something for a long time. I mean, I'm sure I will eventually get tired of BioShock. It hasn't happened yet because I'm on the very top of it. But I'm sure if I just keep replaying it and just sucking in all the media, my brain will eventually get tired of it. But that's the thing, and then I'll get back on something else. I guess Sherlock Holmes or sci-fi or something like that. There's always you go in phases. And
for me, I'm getting onto a Dragon Ball Z kick right now, but I just got off of a Game of Thrones kick. I mean, honestly, you want to know what the phases of the kicks I'm on? Look through the history of topics that I pick when it comes to review.
You see, I don't know if you can do that with me, because I'm usually not very open about what the phase I'm going through right now is. I mean, you can sometimes go in my videos and see it, but it's occasional. The one, the obvious one was Godzilla, back when I did Godzilla Palooza, but that was almost kind of engineered into going on a huge Godzilla kick. Because, I'm always a consistent huge Godzilla fan, but sometimes I go through phases where everything I do is involved in Godzilla. And
like
that was
the bathroom with my Godzilla action figures.
No, but I'll go into the bathroom and pop on some Akira Ifukube and listen to that. So
You
that's
really
what
need to tell me that.
No
No one
but
on the planet needed to know that information.
Yeah, they did. See that everyone. I want everyone to comment and say whether or not their lives were somehow enhanced by knowing that information about my bathroom experiences.
Okay.
Dude, people need to know about your bathroom experiences. That's how we get to know you as a more rounded person.
Yeah, I just went through college orientation yesterday. And I really regret not telling people about how I take a shit because that would have given them a window into my inner being, and I didn't do that. I feel ashamed.
Yeah.
I must remember to do that on the first day of school. Anyway, but in terms of going through phases, I think that it's something I'm going through right now with superheroes. Is I'll get back into comics and superheroes eventually. In fact, I might have just started that today because I took a trip to the comic shop and got a couple of issues of some DC stuff and really liked it. So maybe I'm on my way up back to the superheroes. But
you know what?
as of
Honestly, in a week or maybe like 2 weeks or so, depending on how much you stay into superheroes and comics, you should make a video just revoicing your opinions on this and see if they change at all.
We'll see, because I don't know because I took one trip to the comic shop and only bought 4 things, just because of lowered paycheck because I went on vacation.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if I keep going when I get my normal paycheck back. I think that'll be a telling sign of whether or not I've gone through the dark days of superhero fandom. Because this summer was all about monster movies, and that was just because of the Godzilla news. Because I was like, ooh, wow, that stuff is cool again. Let me go back and watch all the Gamera movies. So that was the phase that. Yo, Gamera is fucking awesome.
It's funny, Bill and I tend to feed off of each other's kicks, I've noticed. Like, he starts doing Jurassic Park reviews, so I watch all the Jurassic Park movies, and then like, Bill, we gotta make a Jurassic Park video together. I do not feed off of Milan's kicks, because fuck Milan.
No, I think if you did that, then you'll... Oh my god. Well, I think if...
On his end.
I don't know, I don't know, hello, 1, 2, 3. No, it doesn't say. Oh, no one is flashing. Okay. But anyway, it's stopped now. But yeah, because if you try to do the same kicks I did, you'd die of poisoning.
You die of just sheer shock.
Yeah. It's just like, yay, look at this thing. It is a thing that, I like, and if you do the same thing that I like, bad things will happen. Yeah. I don't know.
Let me just ask you guys this now that we're talking about this. Have you ever gone through a phase of liking something and then never gone back to that, or just stopped liking that thing forever after that? Because I've never really had that. Have you guys ever had that?
No,
well,
not really.
Define stopped liking. You mean not like it anymore, or just never get interested in it again? Because, I mean, technically yes, but only because there's nothing left of it.
Yeah.
No, I mean, you go back and you're like, why the fuck did I ever like that? It's not lack of interest because nothing new is coming out. It's lack of interest because you go back and look at it and it's like, ugh, I can't believe I ever liked that.
Maybe for, like, little kid stuff, like, Pooh, but,
No, I mean, like, modern, like, stuff where, like, you look back and it's like you, I'm talking about, like, preteen stuff up to now.
Nah, because, I mean, I still like Dragon Ball Z. I haven't watched Yu Yu Hakusho, but I think it'll probably hold up. I remember it fairly well.
For me, it's...
I have...
For me, it's...
Sorry, Molly, go ahead.
For me, it's Dragon Ball Z, because... I mean, I loved even when I was a kid, me and my little brother had this game, basically, every morning before school, Dragon Ball Z would come on. It would have this game of will something happen? So basically,
that's fair.
Basically, we sit there, we're watching the TV, and we're like, oh, they're gonna do something, somebody's gonna throw a punch. They're building tension the whole episode. It's like, oh, somebody's gonna throw a punch, and it's like, before somebody actually throws a punch, the guy comes in.
Dragon Ball Z!
I know, and we're like, damn it! And the next episode, we get so excited when somebody threw a punch. We're like, oh my god, somebody threw a punch! And they went back to the tension.
The biggest criticism you can lob at Dragon Ball Z is that it is one of the most padded things ever put on television.
Well, like, the thing that I have a question about, because what I remember about Dragon Ball Z is they do a lot of jump cuts of the same clip, and to extend the time a character's talking. Like I have this one particular memory of Krillin, and he's talking while like blocking his face because some bad guy's charging up, and there are rocks flying, and you can see the exact same shape of a rock go by like 4 times. And the thing I wonder about is, what was the runtime of the show in Japan versus what it is in America?
It's the same.
Are you okay? I was just wondering, maybe the show's actually a lot shorter in the original Japanese, but to make it fit the half-hour runtime, they just really extended and padded the hell.
Oh no, do you know why that is?
Why?
Because the show was coming out while the manga was coming out.
Okay.
So they made it parallel. So the reason why, this is infamous about Dragon Ball Z, the reason why it's so padded is because they had to wait for Toriyama to come up with what was going to happen next. So, and you can see this reflected in the... Well, that's not... Yeah, well, that's fair. It's not a good way to make a good show, but...
Well, it worked.
It worked that it was successful. I don't know if you can look back at Dragon Ball Z and say that all of it is good. Like, there's some filler where you're just like, what the fuck? But that's why it has so much filler and so much padding of, like, we're going to spend an entire episode watching Goku charge up. Because they were like, we have to wait for Toriyama to make the next call on what's going to happen because we can't be original because we have to follow the manga. The biggest example of this is the Super Saiyan. So, Toriyama introduces the concept of the Super Saiyan during the last parts of the Saiyan saga. And then he starts to play around with it in the early Frieza stuff. Then he mentions briefly what a Super Saiyan is while Vegeta's beating up all of Frieza's henchmen. Because he says that he's become it. He tells the legend of what the Super Saiyan is, the golden monkey thing. And that's the first...
What?
The first... Because, alright, so the first Super Saiyan legitimately is Goku, because he's the first one who did it as a normal Saiyan. The only Super Saiyans in the past that have been able to happen have been when they're in their monkey form, their giant monkey form. That's the only time they've been able to do it. And every time a Super Saiyan has emerged, they've died from the inability to control their power. So that's why you have a big deal being made out of Goku going Super Saiyan. So the writers had to pad out these fights between Vegeta and these henchmen because they had to wait for Toriyama to develop what the Super Saiyan was so they could do it properly. Because if they fucked it up, it would ruin the whole show. Because it was one of the biggest things they ever did. And look what happened to Dragon Ball Z after that. Everything became centered around the Super Saiyans.
Like, I just, honestly, that's, padding, I could care less about an episode being padded. Because guess what? I don't have to watch every single episode.
You can skip a lot of Dragon Ball Z. I would say, if you're going to...
The biggest criticism I have against Dragon Ball Z is, after the Frieza saga, every single thing is about getting to the next level of Super Saiyan and throwing a spirit bomb at the bad guy.
See, that's more the Buu saga, but the Cell saga has that in that it's all about becoming a Super Saiyan 2 until Gohan... It's all about that until Gohan becomes the main character. And that's when it gets legitimately interesting. Mm-hmm. Because the rest of it is Vegeta and Goku having this almost like arms race over which one's going to become Super Saiyan 2 first.
And it's Goku, of course, because he's the main character, even though it doesn't make any sense. Cause
actually, Vegeta does it first.
Oh, does he? Okay, my bad.
Okay, well, here's the thing. Vegeta does it in a way that it works first. Goku did it, he just can't fight like that because he can't fucking move. He demonstrates this to Gohan in the Hyperbolic Time Chamber. When Vegeta fights Cell, he actually goes Ascended Saiyan and is able to fight Cell that way. But even then, he can't... He's able to fight that way for a while, but even then he can't beat Cell that way. So then he has Trunks do it. So then Trunks is the first one where it's a legitimate threat, and then Gohan's the first one to do it to the point where it defeats Cell.
Okay.
Goku never really went proper Super Saiyan 2 until the Buu saga.
Alright. It always bugged me how...
Yeah, I agree. It's annoying, especially in the Buu saga.
We're way off topic, and I think we've said everything we have to say on this. Anyone got any final thoughts on getting burnt out on comics?
Well, when something is shitty, you kind of... See, when there's a really good quality. You see, when there's an updraft of quality in a certain comic book title, but there's also just multimedia support for the character. Like there's movies and there's cartoons and there's the comic books are there. And so just when a character just so overly exposed and you love the character and you adore the character, but at certain points you find yourself getting tired of him and just seeing other, as interesting characters being shafted to make way for this character. And it's like, yes, I love this character, but it's just like there's so many other characters that aren't getting, stuff of their own. They're just kind of being put onto teams, or just nobody gives a fuck. And yes, you love the character, but you get tired of him, and you're getting a little bit like, am I getting tired of this character? It's surprising, but when you are, you're going to get back on the character, but it's just at the moment you feel like you're a little bit burnt out.
See, I don't think I get burnt out. Like, I wasn't excited for Wolverine, and Wolverine was fine. I don't think I get burnt out on the genre or the characters. I think I get burnt out when it's mediocre. Like, there were plenty of people that didn't want to go see The Dark Knight when they saw the advertisements for it, because they didn't know about Batman Begins, because that had a criminally bad advertising campaign, and the last Batman movie they'd heard of was Batman and Robin. So they were burnt out on Batman until they figured out that The Dark Knight was amazing, and then they went to go see it. I don't think it's the characters or the genre being a problem. I think it's mediocrity of the material that's the problem.
I also think it's how overexposed it gets, because these sorts of things are cyclical in terms of pop culture. They go through cycles of popularity. And as a monster movie fan, it happened to monster movies. They went through this huge cycle of popularity in the 70s, and then no one gave a shit about them in the 80s. And they never really bounced back from it, to be fair. But and there's always the future, but as of right now, they've never really bounced back from that. They've never been as popular as they were. I think that's going to happen with superhero movies, maybe only to a lesser degree, because you have a much larger devoted comic book fan base than devoted monster movie fan base. I think that's a fair assessment. But I do think that there's going to be a cycle where superhero movies are not going to be as popular as they are now, and the culture in general is going to get burnt out on them, and you're not going to see these stores filled with pop culture T-shirts of Captain America and the Hulk and Spider-Man, and it's going to go back to it being for kids and geeks, and there's not going to be this in-between mainstream area, and then in 25 years, it's going to hit big again with some other giant property.
Actually, I'm sorry, go ahead and finish, and I want to bring up something real quick.
Sure. And it's going to happen with another genre. Maybe monster movies will come back. Maybe it'll happen to science fiction, Star Trek, Star Wars, whatever it is. Something else is going to take its place. And then once that thing is done, and maybe something else is done, the superhero genre will be good and ready to come back, and then we'll have a whole nother cycle.
I know
let me go in before you real quick. Just because I reserve the floor, sir.
Very well.
When Green Lantern came out, a lot of people were trying to make the argument, and I was not one of these, were trying to make the argument that people are just burnt out on superhero movies, and that's why they didn't like it. And that's why it didn't do any money or anything like that. Now, that wasn't the problem. The problem was that movie had shitty advertising and direction. But the thing is, people made that argument that people are just getting burnt out on superhero movies. No one wants to see them anymore. We've had 2011 had, I think, 4 or 5 superhero movies. And that was beginning to be a really popular argument that superhero movies were done. It was over. 4 years prior, they were making the same argument. Then, bam, 3 years earlier at that point, they were making the same argument. And then, bam, Iron Man and Dark Knight. Then 2011, no, seriously, we're burnt out. We're all on second stringers and nobody cares. Then guess what happens next year? Dark Knight Rises and Avengers come out. The medium's evolving in ways that it's evolving in really interesting ways, because the movies, if they do it right, have the benefit of being able to look at what was working and what problems the comics faced.
Right.
You notice that as the movies have gone on, let's say that, I mean, honestly, the first superhero movie in the modern context is Superman 1, but let's say in the more recent pop culture context, it's Spider-Man 1.
Right.
The movies have gone more from being representations of the characters on screen that kind of just bunch as much continuity into one film as possible into becoming just installments, just in the same respect as the comic books are. Every book is just an installment in the character's run, as opposed to like this part of the character. And that doesn't make a lot of sense, but I think you guys get where I'm coming.
You're saying that superheroes are built to be serialized.
Yeah, and I think the superhero genre I think the film genre of it will continue to evolve in the ways that the comics had to. I mean, if the superhero genre in film wasn't going to stick around, I don't think it's going to be super popular, but I don't ever think it's going to go away.
I agree with that, yeah.
I think it's going to stick around if it's smart and continues to evolve and adapt in the ways in which the comics did. We had that really dark, gritty phase in the late 2000s, and now we're getting into a more lighthearted, interesting phase with Marvel's side of things, and also into a more intellectual phase with DC's side of things, if Man of Steel and Dark Knight Rises are to be held up as examples, let's say.
Yeah, they set up what the rest of the run is going to be like when they finally fucking do Justice League.
Yeah.
I would agree with that assessment. I don't think it's ever going to go away where there are no superhero movies, but I think it's going to get to the point where, as I stated earlier, it's just going to get to that point where you're not going to have that general mainstream obsession that you have now.
I don't know. I think it's going to die down certainly, but I don't think it's ever going to go away. Go ahead, Milan.
I know there's indie superhero movies nowadays, but the thing is, I can't wait I can't wait, but once the superhero genre of film will become kind of gauche, and they stop making those, I guarantee there's gonna be, like, when the younger kids who are young now, and they start growing up, and they, like, film students, like, of the, next generations, will have kind of like the superhero film as like a genre, and there's going to be like a bunch of superhero student films. Like, oh, I remember like Dark Knight Rises. I was a little kid watching that. Oh, I remember fucking Avengers as a little kid. I love that. And so they're going to be these film brats, film school brats, making all these indie superhero films.
Milan,
as a film student,
Milan, I just want to say you're the only person I know of that really looks forward to getting old.
I don't know if I should, as a film school student, I don't know if I should be offended by what Milan just said.
Well, no, I mean, it's a good thing. I mean, you are one of those people in a certain respect.
Yeah, I don't know if I call myself a brat, but okay.
He's being colorful with his line.
I know, I'm kidding. I think that's definitely possible. I would love to do one as my senior film. I just don't know
how to do special effects.
Well, yes, but I don't know if it would be feasible in terms of what I would want to do.
And let me just
I
say,
don't know. We'll see.
For my project, I'm in a video game design class. For my project, I'm creating a Green Lantern game, so that'll be fun.
Oh, you do? Well, that's awesome, dude. That's really cool.
It's not going to be a full video game. Don't get your fucking hopes up. It's going to be a free roam level with no objectives since I'm not doing programming. I realized the second I said that, I'm like, I better tone down people's hopes for that one.
It's just going to be Green Lantern running. It's going to be like a stolen model from the actual Green Lantern game. He's just running around like one of those classic virtual reality like grid maps, just shooting nothing.
I'm designing a spaceship for it, and it's just gonna be Green Lantern free roaming around a spaceship, and there's gonna be cool levels, and you're gonna be able to look out at a spacescape that I'm gonna design and stuff like that. So
hey, I never I look forward to getting old. What?
Well, no, you're like, I can't wait till we start seeing film school brats. I'm like, but that means you're going to be old by the time that happens.
I think what he's referring to is I can't wait to see what the next generation is like compared to how I viewed things. I don't know if it's like I can't wait to be force myself to eat oatmeal every morning through a straw.
It's just like, that's the reality of it, is you're looking forward to being old. because you're gonna be old when that happens. Like, that's the thing that kills me is sometimes I feel old talking to Bill here when he's like, yeah, I was however old when this movie came out. Bill, how old were you when Spider-Man 1 came out?
Shit.
2001.
No, Spider-Man 1 was 2002.
No, it wasn't.
Yes, it was.
No,
Look
it
it
wasn't because it was originally there was marketing for it where Spidey was in the World Trade Center. That never.
Yeah, and hang on, I'm gonna look this up now because I know you're wrong.
What if I'm right? What do I get if I'm right? Like the DVDs would have been 2002, but the film was 2001.
I'm gonna look this up because I think you're wrong. But regardless, I would have been 8 or 9.
Mm-hmm. See, it just feels weird because I was like,
2002, bitch.
Shit.
Fuck you.
well, that's bullshit.
Fuck your shit.
I could have sworn.
No, it's not bullshit. It's when it fucking came out.
That doesn't seem right.
I'm gonna look this up.
Personally, I have no idea how old I was.
Yeah, May 3rd, 2002. Okay, fair enough. How old were you in 2002, Milan?
No clue.
No, just I feel old.
Come 8 or 9, like 11.
Like, honestly, think about this. Alright. 2002, May 3rd, 2002, which is apparently when Spider-Man 1 came out, a child was born. Today, that kid is at least 10 or 11 years old. I'm too lazy to do the math. To him, Spider-Man is an old movie.
Yeah.
That's such a weird thing. And Milan's talking about, like, I can't wait till that kid's making movies for me to watch.
Well, I think that it's gonna be. I agree with him. It's gonna be really weird because it's like, we're not old dudes by any stretch of the imagination. We're all on the cusp of youth. I mean, you look at a 40-year-old is looking back at us and being like, why the fuck aren't you doing something useful with your time? Now I'm sitting here with my bad knees with my ugly-ass wife screaming at me, and I look back at your days and just like, oh, I long for those days. And Milan's like, I can't wait to be in your position.
No, because I'm going to be, like, I don't know, I'm going to be doing something interesting, like roaming around Australia like a homeless person.
That's interesting.
Yeah, like, I'm going to go...
Muttering to
Really?
himself.
Your mother just must be so proud of the aspirations you have, sir.
Some people want to be scientists, they want to be peacekeepers, they want to be the president. Milan wants to be a homeless person.
No, not a homeless person, a traveling songsman.
You want to be a gypsy, pretty much.
Exactly, I want to go back to my heritage.
Gypsy's a racial slur. It's Roma.
Doesn't matter.
The thing that's in the Wolfman, that's what Milan will be.
Yeah, I'm gonna be Bela Lugosi, just going around, I curse you, I curse you.
He doesn't curse people, he warns people that he's gonna fucking kill them.
Anyway, no, but that's the thing,
but you're not gonna have money for superhero movies if you're old,
You can't read comics, Milan, you can't afford...
There won't be comics by that point, Bill.
There will just be holograms.
No, it's all gonna be on iPad.
No, it'll be in your fucking...
because the iPad is a fucking toy. It's not a serious piece of technology.
Oh, there are so many people right now banging their computers, yelling at you for saying that.
It's true.
Yeah, fuck those people.
Anything that cannot run 2 programs at once is not a computer.
Yeah, I think the iPad 2 can. Because my iPhone can do that.
No, I mean, like, can you make a Skype call? Can you IM me on Skype while watching a YouTube video?
I think I can, because if I double tap my home screen, I can look at the programs that are open right now and go back to them without closing the other program.
No, like, I tried to do it on the iPad. I tried to watch and listen to a Geek Pollution video while having a Skype conversation. Not talking to someone, just IMing, and it stopped the YouTube video.
Oh, the YouTube... Oh, okay, yes, you're right. The YouTube video is different, but if you're listening to a podcast, you can do that.
Yeah, fair enough. No, just say it drives me crazy. It's not a real computer, people. It's a...
Were you listening to, sorry to cut you off, but were you listening to, the YouTube video through Google or the YouTube app?
I can't remember. It's been, like, over a year.
Okay, well then, yeah, that's why. With YouTube, it's different because it's a separate running... It's a separate, like, thing altogether. If it's through the iPhone's apps or the iPad's apps, you can usually do that. Like, I can listen to a podcast while...
it's probably through the YouTube app. It's still just annoying.
Yeah, it's weird. That's fair. Well, usually it's videos in general. Audio, you can do whatever you want.
Whatever. Alright, so we're monumentally off topic yet again.
Yes,
Sorry
we are.
for how crazy this video was, guys.
This episode was all over the place.
We were just catching up this week. We'll be back to form next week, probably. Maybe not. I would highly doubt it, to be honest.
Well, we're going for the throat next week, which is something that we try to do more often here on Geeky Gentlemen, so I think that'll help us out.
Yeah. So, Bill, what are we doing next week, then?
Well, ladies and gentlemen of the Geeky Gentlemen audience, we are going to...
Ladies. Nice.
Well, we have a couple female viewers. I don't know if you've noticed.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah. Amazing that we have it's amazing we have actual people with vaginas watching this show. It's just
I'm surprised.
Now we don't.
Because Milan said it so bluntly. We're gonna go for the throat next week, like I just said, because we talk a lot about certain things on Geeky Gentlemen. There are things we like to bring up and go back to, and very rarely we actually sit down and devote a video to it. Two of those things are Grant Morrison and All-Star Superman. And we're going to be talking about those things en masse in one video devoted to it next week when we review All-Star Superman.
Didn't we do that already?
About the film and the book kind of interchangeably, I imagine.
Yeah, so I'm going to recommend to you guys to both reread the comic and rewatch the movie, just because I think that one will bring on the other. Though the starting point of the video will be the comic. I do also want to touch on the movie because it's not worth doing another video on. Because it's we'll just knock them all out in one. Anything with the All-Star Superman name on it will do.
I'm gonna find like some All-Star Superman boxer shorts, and we're gonna have to review those.
So we're gonna be reviewing All-Star Superman next week. I'm very excited. I think we'll have a lot to say about that.
I think we already kind of do. We really have to, because we just kind of did a lot of that in our Superman video.
Which one?
The one where we talked about Superman and as like a thing. You know, it was on my birthday and you guys ate cake.
Oh,
that
the
was
effective
a year ago.
Was it?
Well, that and also it was Milan. We talked about All-Star Superman for like maybe 2 minutes. I wanna get down and gritty with it and actually talk about the details. We were very general with it. Let's get fucking all up in All-Star Superman's business. Like, get up in it and like fucking inhale it and shit.
And it doesn't matter, because we've already announced the topic at this point, so the video is over. The play bar is going increasingly to the right of the screen right now.
Yeah.
Indeed. So, that's our topic for next week.
You guys, I just gotta say, this episode is gonna be one of those things.
Okay. Anyway.
What do you... I don't know what you mean by that.
Oh, dude. Don't worry about it. I'll tell you later.
Okay. I'm very creeped out now. I'm worried that my life isn't threatened. So if ever the Geeky Gentleman audience, if I'm not on next week's show, you'll know why.
Oh, don't. Oh, you're not so important for me to kill you, Bill.
You have to be important.
You now double know why I won't be on next week's episode.
Okay. Anyway, before Milan and Bill start having their lovers quarrel, foreplay bullshit again, everybody, thank you for listening. And until next time, I'm the Philosopher.
I'm the Fanatic.
And I am the Madman.
And we are your Geeky Gentlemen, and we will be discussing things.
Indeed.
We shall.